Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Now That You Mention It podcast with Roll J and RJ.
I'm Roll.
I'm Jay.
And I'm RJ.
And we just want to say thank you to everybody for all the love we've been getting, all the support, all the feedback. Guys, don't forget to visit our website now, the Now That You Mention It website. You can also, if you're following us on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button and click the little bell to get our notifications when new content comes out. Don't forget to listen to our audio formats on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcast.
And now Google Podcasts.
And now Google Podcast. All right, another outlet for us to get into. Guys, don't forget to give us some love on our social media pages. Hit us up on Facebook, on Instagram, our Twitter account, our Reddit account. You know, we really like hearing the feedback. We really like, being able to get out with you guys and listen to everything that you guys have to say. We truly appreciate all the love and support.
And our TikTok.
Oh, and our TikTok. Oh, forgot about TikTok. Dang it, man. We're all over the place now. Going worldwide. Now that you mentioned it, Worldwide Productions.
That's the dream, ain't it?
How you doing tonight, boys?
Pretty good. How about you two?
I'm doing well, but I understand, Jay, it's been a long day for you.
It has been a long day, but you know what? It's been a good day. I'm not going to complain about it. And I'm excited for this episode because this is the episode we're dubbing the Dallas episode, right? So, this is something we've been talking about in the past and something that we've been wanting to do for a while. Talk about our favorite places in Dallas to visit. And, talking backstage, all of us, we kind of got into this little debate of what constitutes the Dallas episode. Are we going outside of Dallas proper? And I think we've kind of agreed to stretch it out to Fort Worth and the mid cities. But I think we have to have our limits on how far we're going because, definitely don't, we're not here to push the, Glen Rose and Denton. I'm not. Wow. Denton can get their own episode.
Wow.
Well, then I mean, it's part of our MSA, and there's definitely some stuff to do up there. But I think the driver of this episode was that if someone from out of town who just landed at the airport, asked you where to go, you would suggest this place. And I just don't know that Denton. Anything going on in Denton is right at the top of my list, especially because when you think about it, people's trips here are going to be, at the most a week usually. Yeah. The average person is only coming for like a week. Now, if someone's here for like a month or so.
I don't think anybody's clamoring to get out to Duncanville.
Damn.
Sorry,
the disrespect for Duncanville.
Sorry, Duncanville. I love you.
We're gonna have words after this episode.
Let me put it to you this way, Duncanville. I love you way more than I love Houston.
Well, Houston. And I guess anything's greater than zero.
Wow.
Hey, this is true, man. Houston, I'm sorry,
love you, Houston.
But I don't.
Love you.
You guys are terrible. But let's get on with this, the Dallas episode. So, I kind of went through and I started thinking about, the fact of if I were an Uber driver and somebody stepped out of the airport at DFW or even left field and they loaded up in the car and they said to me, hey, where's a good place to visit around here? We're here for a couple of days. Cause Dallas is a hub there. It's a city for everything. There's conventions. We have this very beautiful, the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center, coupled with the Omni Hotel right there in downtown. And they host a lot of different events. Cheerleading tournaments, basketball tournaments, a lot of different things coming in, a lot of business events. We have the World Trade Center here. We have the Marketplace Center here. They host a lot of market events and things like that. So, we have people that come in for a weekend, a couple of days. And, what's the big question then? What is there to do around here other than just hanging out at the Marketplace or the Convention Center? So that's the way I kind of wanted to go about doing this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a turn each. And we'll mention one place and kind of describe why we think that's a great place. Okay. Does that sound fair to you guys?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, Roll, let's start with you. Since you're the elder statesman and you've been around Dallas longer than all of us, you know, I know you remember back when wagons used to roll through here and the Trinity River was an actual river. Um, you know, dinosaurs roamed the earth. So you know Dallas pretty well. So let's start with you. Where's a place that somebody got off the airplane and said, where should I go in Dallas? Where would you send them?
Well, before I get into my area, get into that topic, I just want to point out you're less than 2 years behind me, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's a very long 2 years.
Yeah,
I just
don't
hope
think so.
I just hope the Bronco Bowl doesn't make an appearance on either of your lists.
Oh,
Why
wow.
not, dude? The Bronco Bowl was greatness.
It was
Oh, that's
great.
another rule. It still has to exist.
Yeah, that's exactly. We were talking about that because obviously you can't recommend the Bronco Bowl to anybody because it's no longer here. So,
I'm
Just
down
like
with that.
Region
I'm down with it as long as it's still existing.
I think if I'm going to talk about what's one of the first destinations I would recommend to somebody, I'm going to say it's that building that's just to the left of your shoulder there, bro. The Reunion Tower. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
It's got a nice observation deck. You can go up there and walk around and see a 360-degree view of Dallas. They've got a couple of eating establishments there.
Yeah, there's a nice bar up there.
Right.
I don't know. The restaurant has changed so many times up there. I'm not sure what it's called
It's
anymore.
Wolfgang Puck.
Is
Wolfgang's
it?
Puck.
Yeah.
Now,
It's there now, but
I'm glad you brought this up because this one's on my list as well. Reunion Tower is one of the best places that it's one of my favorite places to go, especially when you get up there to the observation deck. If you can get up there on a clear day, hell, you can see all the way to Fort Worth from there. And that's an accomplishment considering how big, the Dallas Fort Worth area is spread out.
They also have the other building that's behind you, the Green Monster. It has an observation deck. It's actually the Bank of America Tower, but it has an observation deck as well. And again, that's the tallest building in Dallas at the moment. So, either one of those would probably be very high on my list because again, you get to see really Dallas from a really cool perspective. And again, if you go to the Reunion Tower and you go to either the bar or the restaurant, it rotates.
Yeah.
So you make a cycle, and while you're eating your meal, you get to see, you get to go all the way around and see different parts of the skyline. So it's really cool. So I'm going to go with that one. Jay, you're next.
Well, and I love this episode because I've always been a big advocate of our town. I love Dallas. I've been to a lot of different cities. I used to travel for a living. I've seen a lot of different skylines. And I think the great thing about Dallas, and a lot of people don't realize this, was a couple of years ago, Dallas was voted the best skyline in the world, not the nation, not the state of Texas, in the world. Because our skyline is so clean. Go ahead, fact check it, dude.
He's right. He's right.
Because, and that's one of the things that I'm very, very proud of this city is, man, when people think about Dallas, I know a lot of people have a misconception, especially if they're not from here, if they've never been to Dallas. They think we all ride around on horses and they think there's tumbleweeds rolling down the street and we all have 10-gallon hats and we all live like J.R. Ewing. And, unfortunately that's not the case of it. But the Dallas skyline, as you can see it behind me, is one of the greatest skylines in the world, man. It's very classy, the way it's done. A lot of the buildings, a lot of the architects and city planners have kind of developed a scheme for the skyline so that if they want the skyline to reflect a certain theme, they can. I know Valentine's Day, it's like a reddish pinkish color. 4th of July, it's a lot of red, white, and blue in there. So it's a really cool place. And I like the fact that you brought up Reunion Tower and the Bank of America building, because those are really two of my favorite places to go. The observation decks in both of them are incredible. If you've never been, if you've lived in Dallas and have never been to the observation decks in those two places, do yourself a favor and go, because you're missing out. It's definitely one of the coolest places. But for me, the top place that I'm gonna throw in there, because I am such a big homer from my area, is Bishop Arts. The Bishop Arts area, man, there is so much to do down at restaurants. It's very eclectic. You know, there's a lot of
boutique shops,
a lot of different boutique restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, the Glory is down there. That's inside the old
Firehouse.
Firehouse. It's just one of the coolest places to go hang out and have a drink on a patio.
That patio scene it's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you've got, you know, an hour to kill one day, just stroll through Bishop Arts. Look at all the little boutique shops and bars and all the things to do down there, man. Bishop Arts is definitely one of my favorite places to go in Dallas. It's right around the corner for me and my wife. Hell, it's right around the corner for you guys. It's not that far from where y'all live. And RJ, you're right down there. You're literally like 5 minutes away from it.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, that's, you know, one of my favorite places in Dallas to go. You know, it's awesome. What about you, RJ?
Well, for me, you know, I think the first thing I would tell someone to do is to hit up Trinity Groves and the Ronald Kirk pedestrian bridge.
I think one of the awesome places, man.
Yeah, exactly. It has a somewhat Bishop Arts type vibe. You know, you have all those restaurants right there. And then, of course, literally you just walk, you know, across one little
street to the bridge.
One little street and you're at the bridge. So to me, it's all one activity. And I think that sets a great tone for someone who just got here, regardless of the time of day, whether you got, well, I mean, maybe not breakfast, but, you know, for lunch, you still get a great view of the skyline. It kind of sets the tone for your trip, and even better at night, obviously.
Oh
I
yeah.
was going to say, because it's so, the proximity to downtown, you get a view of the Margaret Hunt Bridge. Well, both Calatrava bridges you can see.
Yeah.
And of course the Dallas skyline from there. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And you know, there's nothing better than me. And I've taken multiple pictures of the Margaret Hunt Bridge, that big arch that, you know, that hovers over the bridge that leads, you know, from basically separates one side of the Trinity River to the other, is one of the coolest pieces of architecture that we have out here. It's one of the most picturesque, one of the most beautiful pieces of art that we have in this city.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing better than when you're at night and it's lit up and it has the big Texas flag on one side and the big American flag on the other. Man, it's a great photo op. So that's a good choice, RJ. That's a really, really cool joint over there.
Yeah, so that's my number one for. So how about number two for you, Dad?
Well, first of all, you guys, I'll say, I don't necessarily have a ranking on these, but
I don't either. I think that's just kind of one of the first places that I like going, but I don't think I have a rank. I could rank the places
I
around
strongly
here.
recommend, and I love spending time, is at the Dallas Arboretum.
Oh yeah, that's an awesome place.
There, the gardens, White Rock Lake. It is just such a serene view. It's a really cool environment. Even though it's in the, you know, the heart of the city, well, not quite the heart of the city, but on the east side of the city, you still feel like you're kind of in a secluded area. It's so pristine, so well maintained. They do all these seasonal events there every holiday. For many years, we would take the children to do all the festivities during Halloween and Thanksgiving and even Christmas, because they really deck it out. It's just a tremendous place to go. So that'll be real high up on the list with me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's such a beautiful place, especially the Arboretum. A lot of people use that as a backdrop for wedding photos, for quinceañera photos, for engagement photos and things like that. That's really awesome place. You know, one of the great things about the city is that Dallas is such a multi-use, multi-purpose city. You have really big cultural centers like the Arboretum and the lake. You have a lot of different industrial. You know,
Uh-oh. Did we lose you for a sec?
I think we lost them.
All right. Well, I'll tell
Houston,
you
we
what.
have a problem.
Well, just in case he's still. Oh wow, Houston. We have just in case it's still recording, why don't you go ahead and tell us? We'll skip him and we'll come back to him. What's next on your list of recommendations?
Yeah. So for me, I actually did rank mine. I don't think it was a requirement, but for me, I kind of wanted to go about it in that way. And so I went with Reunion Tower, the observation deck next. You guys said so much about it already, but if you can grab a bite, take the time to eat at the restaurant if you can, because I remember having gone there as a kid. I've been there as an adult, but just the fact that, it's just so cool how it's moving, but you're not moving at the same time. You know what I mean?
You're stationary, but your view.
Yeah, and you're getting to see all of Dallas. I mean, you can see downtown, a little bit of uptown, Oak Cliff. So to me, that's going to be number 2 for that reason. I probably would have put Bank of America Tower here instead, but I think when I was doing my research, the observation deck is no longer open to the public.
Oh, okay.
I'll go back and fact check that because I could be wrong. I did just a little brief research this afternoon and I couldn't find anything about the observation deck being open. But, hands down, I prefer that just because I've been fortunate to be there on one of the top floors for what we do for business and see that view. And, to me, there's no view like it. I think it beats the Reunion Tower view just because it's taller and I feel like you can see, further out. But yeah, that's going to be number 2 for me. So,
but we already have that on the list. So let's add something we haven't already. So come up with your next, menu that hasn't been mentioned yet.
All right. Well, the next one that's hasn't been mentioned, I would say this is going to be seasonal. First of all, it's really going to be only if you're here November, December, or January. But I think if you're here during those months, it deserves to be pretty high up there. And for me, that's going to be taking time to go out to the Gaylord Texan and check out the ice exhibit during the Christmas holiday time. We've been there so many years as a family, obviously. And it's definitely one of my favorite things to continue to keep doing just because of, it feels like you're in a little city, whenever you're in that hotel and then you go check out the ice exhibit and the fact that it's really never the same.
Yeah. There's so many other things you can do. They have these attractions. They had the, what this year they had the snow sledding or the what do you call the toboggan that you where you
did they really? Down. Oh yeah.
And then of course Grapevine does a fantastic job in decking out the city for Christmas. It's a really cool place to go visit during the holiday. I know we took Annabelle on the Polar Express experience that was out there.
Yeah.
And then we did Santa's Village. It was really cool.
So is Grapevine's, is it that they claim to be the Christmas capital of the U.S. or Texas?
I think they call themselves the Christmas capital of the world. I think.
And it's hard. They call themselves the Christmas capital of either the world or the U.S. But either way, it's hard to argue that they aren't because obviously last year we've been to the Gaylord and Ice exhibit many times, but last year was the first year that we all stayed there and did things around Grapevine. So when we did that, we went to go see the downtown and everything that they do over there just to get their city ready for this time of year.
Mhm.
So, hard to argue that they're wrong for that name.
No, they
But
do. They do a great job. I mean, we've been fortunate, particularly again at this time of year, that we've gone to a number of uh, sort of holiday season related functions. Remember, we went a couple of times to the tree lighting in downtown.
yeah,
We've been to the children's parade in downtown, the Adolphus Children's Parade. That was one of my.
that's
I
fun.
mean, yeah, and that's one of my most fondest memories of, at least in doing things in Dallas. If we're talking about seasonal, the other thing we've done is we've gone to Sundance Square, which is in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
You remember that year that we went to Sundance
do.
Square and did the same thing? Watched the
yeah,
tree
that was
light.
for New Year's. Yeah,
We did New Year's over there too, and got to see all the fireworks and how they decked out basically downtown Fort Worth. They do a good job too of really decking out the downtown neighborhood. Well, that entire downtown district for the holiday season. Okay, so it looks like Jay hasn't made it back on, so we'll just keep rolling. Um, the next location that I'm going to suggest is to actually visit the Dallas Zoo. Now, in years past, the Dallas Zoo somewhat kind of became outdated and tired and really became a joke for a little while. So many people were really dogging it because it just wasn't even as good as the Fort Worth Zoo, much less some of the other major metro city zoos throughout the country. But kudos to the Dallas Zoo because they have, over the last 10 years, maybe even longer than that, they've done a phenomenal job in making it a world-class zoo. When they opened the wilds of Africa and the elephant enclosure, the giraffe enclosure, the gorilla enclosure, all the things that they've done, and just to revamp that zoo, it's made it such a cool place to go. And then having the children's zoo right in the center, um, you know, um, let me see. Oh, there he is! Look, there he goes.
Man.
Man,
Well, I thought it was our platform that did it because it kicked me out and I couldn't get back in, and then next thing I know, I get back in, but you guys are not there. So I shut everything down and did it again, and I pop up and here you guys are talking about me. Jackasses.
Well, I mean, hell, you're not here to defend yourself. That's just our pile. You know that. That's kind of a rule.
So you were saying he's kind of built like one of the gorillas at the Dallas Zoo.
I'm built like Harambe. I'll take it, dude. The gorillas are badass, man.
Hey,
but
put
I
some
was
respect on
telling him,
Harambe, first of all.
RJ probably doesn't remember when the Dallas Zoo was bad.
Oh yeah.
Remember when we were little? It was
terrible.
It was terrible. I mean, remember we'd go on field trips and we're like, oh, we're going to the zoo.
Yeah.
Because at that time, the Fort Worth Zoo was so much. I was going to say so much cooler.
For the longest time, the Fort Worth Zoo outshined the Dallas Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Dallas Zoo has become a world-class organization.
Right. And they revamped the monorail. So I don't know when's the last time you've gone to the zoo, Jay? Has it been a while?
It's probably been about 3 or 4 years. Been a long time.
But we joined as family members. We joined the zoo, and the last time we got on the monorail, I was really impressed. I mean, they updated the monorail, a lot of the animal exhibits that you got to see. So yeah, I would have to say the Dallas Zoo is definitely someplace now that I would strongly recommend to anybody that if you got an afternoon to kill and you got kids and you want to entertain them, that the Dallas Zoo is a pretty cool place to go. Now, the Dallas Zoo has also been a lot more family friendly in terms of having events there. Like they do the Boo in the Zoo at Halloween, where you go trick or treat, and
Right.
they bring in food trucks. They have a concert series during the summer, which we've been there a couple of times. That's really cool to take lawn chairs and hear some cover bands playing. It's a way to spend a summer evening. They deck it out for Christmas too. This year they're going to do a drive-through experience because of the COVID, which
Right.
we're planning on going to that. But yeah, I mean, it's on my list as places to go in Dallas.
Well, just to give Jay a little recap, while we were busy carrying the show, and he was running a mock dealing
Hey,
with.
Jay, I had to defend you because RJ was saying that you were going to mention LeBear, and I told him that was not first of all, it's not appropriate to mention that.
Yeah.
And number two, he shouldn't be taking your secrets to the public because that's
Dude, I mean, if we're going to talk about strip clubs,
Oh God.
the
No.
Gentleman's Club is the place to go.
Go.
Anyways,
go back.
So, just to recap, was that I mentioned the Gaylord Texan. I mean, I brought up the Union Tower as well, but I brought up the Gaylord Texan.
The Gaylord, Texas is a really, really cool place to go.
Yeah, and especially when they do the winter stuff.
Yeah, when I was so really interrupted by the internet, just the amount of activity. If you're different genres of activity, cultural, shopping, so many different historical. One of the places I was going to bring up was the Gaylord Texan, RJ, because that is a cool place. But I'm a big lover of art. I love art. So I kind of group these places together when I talk about places to go hang out in Dallas. And that's the Dallas Museum of Art and the Meadows Museum at SMU. Those are really, really two of the coolest art galleries that I've ever been to. The Fort Worth Museum of Art is nothing to sneeze at.
Kimball.
The Kimball Art Museum is really cool. I've been to all four. I was a member at the DMA for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
But the DMA, man, and for me, the DMA and the Kimball Art Museum is just it. I went to the DMA when they had the Frida Kahlo exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Meadows Museum when they had the Diego Rivera exhibit.
Yep.
Those were really, really cool. Really fun places, and it's a really nice place to go hang out, especially on a hot summer's day. Because when it's 100 degrees outside, you're looking for something cool to do. Go to the museum, man. Museums, because for the most part, certain days it's free. You're only paying a premium to go into the big exhibits, like when Frida Kahlo was here.
Right.
You did have to pay to go into the Frida exhibit, but the rest of the museum was free. And that's the great thing about the DMA is they do a lot of free events. They have a lot of like you talked about having cover bands in the Dallas Zoo area, bro. They do, string quartets. They do bands. When Frida was in town, they had an all-female mariachi group there that played every night. It's just an awesome place to go. I love the Dallas Museum of Art.
Nice. Well, RJ,
am I next again? All right. Yeah. Well, next for me is probably going to be to make a stop at the great Dallas Jesuit. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to my alma mater, but probably next for me is going to be go check out something, one of the events at the AAC, whether it's a concert, preferably a Mavs game or Stars game. But you can't always time those things. So if they're out of town, there's usually something going on. Maybe not right now because of COVID, but once we get back to a little bit more normal, for me, the AAC is a cool area. You can go kind of hit some of the spots around there before the game and after the game. They've got the old number 7 bar and restaurant right there where if you want to grab a drink after the game. So for me, that's going to be next on the on
that
list.
whole area is known as Victory Park. So,
yeah.
I mean,
because there's so many victories that happen there.
Oh.
Well, and you know, this is where I'm going to kind of rail on my cities for just a minute. I love Dallas,
Oh,
guys,
wow.
and that's them. But Victory
Here comes the
Park,
love for Houston.
no. Oh hell no. But Victory Park and that area in general could have been so much more if the Dallas City Council at the time hadn't been so short-sighted as to let Jerry Jones put the new stadium out in Arlington. You know, they could have came home to roost. There could have been a rehabilitation project at the Cotton Bowl. They could have done something. They could have kept the Cowboys here in Dallas proper. And you know, I think that Mark Cuban and, you know, at the time, the owner of the Stars, which was Tom Hicks, really did a great job really rehabilitating that downtown area where they built the AAC. Because if you guys remember Old Reunion Arena, there was nothing surrounding it. There was no restaurants. There was no bars. There was no nightlife over there. There was no hotels. There was nothing like that around the old Reunion Arena. I mean, you had the Reunion Hotel, but you didn't really have, you know, the gaggle of hotels like the W. You know, the W would have never been built around Reunion Arena. But you build this beautiful, you know, multi-use center out there that's shared by the Dallas Stars and the Dallas Mavericks. And man, Mark Cuban and Tom Hicks, they did that area right. They developed it. They brought in a lot of different, you know, apartment living down there, a lot of different restaurants, bars. There's a movie theater down there now.
You know, I mean, they deserve some of the credit, but that was actually H. Ross Perot Jr. And several developers that were really the visionaries behind all of that development. And the one thing I would say is, you know, because I'm in real estate, that sometimes it's just moving a couple of neighborhoods over makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
The Victory Park is technically in the uptown section of Dallas. So there is so much more vibrancy, activity that's going down there than where Reunion used to be, which is kind of transitioning into the lower southwest end of downtown.
Right.
Downtown, unfortunately, has had it's kind of been in the trough for a while. It's has been making a strong comeback for over a decade now, maybe longer. And so we're seeing a resurgence in downtown Dallas, but so much synergy was created by relocating to the uptown section of Dallas.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot more people that were willing to venture into that part of town than were willing to come into downtown. Because downtown, unfortunately, got to where it was, you know, it was a little tired, it was run down.
Yeah.
A lot of homeless people, you know, a lot of trash on the street.
Well, yeah, because it was not really there was no residential down there. It was all business.
Right.
So at 5 o'clock, everything emptied out.
And the other thing to remember is that in downtown Dallas, we have the tunnel system.
Yeah.
So many buildings are connected underground that a lot of people just automatically, when they were in the downtown area, basically once they got into they went and found their parking, they went into their office building, they never were at street level. Everybody could go underground. And, you know, the other thing too is in downtown during the summer, it gets extremely hot.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, there were other reasons why people would go and get their lunch. You have a whole, you know, one time in the downtown corridor, you know, unfortunately you can't really recommend as a destination place anymore.
Yeah.
Because the tunnel system has been abandoned to a lot of degrees. And so they have been pushing stuff up and out to the street level. But at one time, I know Jay, when you and I were growing up, Grandma used to take us to Thanksgiving Tower all the time. Mm-hmm. And we go into the tunnel and go have lunch at that little sandwich shop there. You know, I used to love going to downtown with Grandma because, you know, we'd go into those tunnels and go, you know, there used to be shops. You could go buy clothes and
restaurants and
yeah.
I think one of the coolest things about going downtown back in that day, especially, was Neiman Marcus. Mm-hmm. You know,
and Neiman Marcus still is
fun to
go.
Yeah, but I don't think that they do the windows up like they used to way back in the day. All the window dressings, and I know they do a really good windows at Christmas time.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it has the cachet that it did 30 years ago.
Mhm.
But that's a great little area down there. But one of the who was up? Was that RJ? That
It's
you
going to
rolling?
be a roll again, I believe.
So my next thing I love about Dallas is I'm going to kind of clump it all together. We'll break it down a little bit, but I'm going to say the Fair Park area.
Yeah,
It's
high on my list as well.
going back to the seasonal aspect that RJ was talking about earlier. There is nothing greater than going to the State Fair of Texas.
Man, okay, here we
The
go.
great State Fair of Texas.
Dude, and it is great. It is great. The great
It
state
is.
fair. The State Fair of Texas is, I hear stories of other states that have state fairs.
Mhm.
It's the
I just
best
think-
state fair in the U.S. Just say it.
I was just about to say that I think that the Texas State Fair is probably the greatest state fair in the country. I dare somebody else to step up and say their state fair is better.
Well, that we benefit from the fact that people from Oklahoma, Louisiana, far west Texas, which is theoretically as big as Texas is, it's almost as if you're traveling from another state anyway
yeah,
to get over here. But people come from Houston, they come from all the way down in the valley along on the Laredo and Brownsville, and I mean people just come from all over to come to the State Fair of Texas. It is by far one of the greatest events that we have, an annual event that we have, and so it definitely makes the top 10. I don't know when's the last time you've ever gone to anything at the Cotton Bowl. Texas OU is still a real key component of that
but I'm
venue.
not sitting anywhere near the Cotton Bowl Texas OU weekend, dude. Forget that.
Too many
what?
crazy drunk people, huh?
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's the stench of the Sooners, right?
Yeah. Well, they say there's a reason why or Texas doesn't fall into the Gulf of Mexico.
I was gonna tell this joke too, but go ahead.
It's because Oklahoma sucks. But just one of the great things about going to the state fair year after year, man, is the car show. That's the main reason why I go.
Oh yeah.
But it's there for 3 weeks. There's a lot of different music acts that come through. The food is incredible. Everybody every year has to go for Fletcher's Corny Dog. And it's the only place in the world where you don't mind paying $8 for a corny dog. Because if you've never been to the State Fair of Texas, for all you people who've never been, everything's on a ticket system. They don't take cash anywhere, unless you're going to the Midway, and then they make you buy a card to spend Midway bucks.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, but everything is done through tickets, and it's 50 cents a ticket. So when you're going and paying,
16 tickets.
16 tickets for a corny dog, that amounts to $8. You don't think about it. You're like, oh, 16 tickets. Oh, I got 16 here. Here you go. You just pay $8 for a corn dog, but it is one of the greatest corn dogs in the world.
But the other thing about the whole state Fair Park venue is, they have so many cool buildings there.
Yeah,
the Centennial Building. They have the
Women's
Discovery
Museum.
Gardens.
the Women's Museum. They have the. Have you gone and looked at? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the museum, the building in which it's located, but they have the museum dedicated to Little Mexico.
Yeah.
Where the tortilla factory, that a lot of the families, the Latino families that were from the Little Mexico area, our grandpa's there. You can't take pictures. They won't let you take pictures, but grandpa's there. I think they even have Dallas Tortilla Factory there.
Yeah, the place down there, the theater down there where they do the musicals as well. Like Dallas Summer Musicals when they had Wicked down there and a lot of different other. That's a great venue as well.
Yeah. And now they have. Oh, you're talking about. I think it's called Jexa Pavilion now.
Yeah,
too.
the Jexa Pavilion.
Starplex.
Yeah, they
ori-
renamed it. Yeah.
when it was
Well,
originally
no, that's where they have concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they have a little theater down there where they do musicals.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you are talking about the Dallas Music Hall.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. You know,
So-
but that whole area is just such a cool place. I know that down
Yeah.
there used to be one of my favorite places to go when we were kids, the Science Place.
Yeah, the Science Place was
you know,
really
that used to house the Dallas Natural Museum of History, where the dinosaurs and all that other stuff. And I think that's kind of been moved by what is going to be my next choice on my list, which is the Perot Museum.
right.
You know,
Well,
which,
let me finish with Fair Park though. Let me finish with Fair Park. So they still have the children's aquarium there.
Yeah.
They have the Discovery. What's it called, RJ? Discovery Gardens.
Discovery Gardens. Yeah.
Yeah.
the
So
planetarium
I mean,
is still
they're
down there.
yeah. So if you have time, definitely go check out Fair Park. It is really still a cool area, even when they don't have the fair
The
going
fair.
on. You know that they still have a few exhibits and buildings open. And I think I'm going to try and make a real concerted effort this next year to go spend a little bit more time there at Fair Park.
Yeah. And it really is a cool place to go hang out. But like I said, one of my favorite places to used to go be down there was the Science Place.
Mhm.
And ever since it closed and it kind of was replaced by the Perot Museum, now the Perot Museum's a really, really cool place to go if you've never been. It's fairly new in the grand scheme of things of Dallas. It's probably only been around for about 10 years. I don't think it's been much longer than that.
No,
Um,
it hasn't.
but it's a really cool place. Have you guys been to the Perot Museum?
Yeah. I've been.
Yes. Yeah.
So one of my favorite places or things to do in the Perot Museum is walk up and down the steps that play music.
Oh yeah.
Those are really, really cool.
Does it make you
but-
think of the movie Big?
Yeah. But
Remember?
just seeing all the dinosaur exhibits and all the natural history stuff that's in there, really, really makes it a cool place. And it's a really family friendly place. And it's a good place. You see a lot of in the summer or during the school year, you see a lot of school field trips that go there. It's a really, really awesome place, man. And I know one of our brothers, Renee, actually used to be a member there. I don't know if he still is or not.
I
But-
don't know.
That's how I got my first taste of the Perot Museum, because he used to get tickets. They would,
Oh, yeah.
being a member, they would give him free tickets. And he called me up one day. He's like, "Hey, I've got these tickets. I'm not going to go. Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go check it out." And because I'd never been, and man, it's awesome. And I've been probably 10 times now since then. It's a really cool place to go.
Alrighty. So we're back up to me, and I think next I'm gonna say, I'd say tread up across the freeway from the AAC, which I mentioned earlier, and hit up Medieval Times. That's hey man, Medieval Times is
Hey.
great.
It's awesome. Medieval Times is very, very cool.
It is.
Um,
it is.
Dinner and a
Yeah.
show, man.
That's one of those kind of things you maybe do once every couple of years.
Yeah.
Not every, that's not a place you're going to go to dinner every weekend. Definitely.
No.
But it is a very, very cool experience, man. I like Medieval Times. It's a lot of fun. And it's the only place in Dallas where you can't get any cutlery. You have to eat everything with your hands.
Yeah.
But it has its, I mean, you guys described it all for me. I mean, like I said, dinner and a show. They put
Your
on a
night
great,
always loses, doesn't he, RJ?
Nah, I'm pretty good at picking winners. So,
Whatever, dude. Your night's probably the first one out of the tournament.
anyways, yeah. So that's next for me. So back to you, Dad.
Well, I was actually looking up real quick because there are only a handful of medieval times in the I think
Entire
the
country.
United States. I think there's only like 3 or 4 venues that you can go, or maybe it's just 2. Anyway, I was just trying to say that's how really neat it is that we have one here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the synergy that's going on with Fair Park and Uptown, Victory Park and Uptown, the Perot Museum, There's some connectivity into the next venue. Have you guys been to the Dallas World Aquarium
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that place is
by
awesome.
West End? So the I kind of want to. It's almost like a twofer on this, because in transitioning from the Perot Museum in the Victory Park area, you got to go through Clyde Warren Park,
Right.
which is one of the few deck parks in the Southwest.
And one of the places on my list.
Yeah, of course. And you know, it's not really fair for me to talk about it. I'm going to defer a little bit more to you, because I've never really physically been to Clyde Warren Park. I've driven
What?
by it so many times, but I've never actually gotten out and walked it.
Dude.
And but the Dallas World Aquarium
Mhm.
is another cool place to go. It's not only got of course the fish and sea life, but it also has an aviary in there.
Yep.
So you get to see all kinds of birds. I believe there's also butterflies and
And then you get to walk through that cool tunnel.
the
That
tunnel.
place is awesome, man.
It is.
Freaking awesome. You know, I'm glad you deferred to me for Clyde Warren Park. I can't believe you've never been there.
I know.
Dude, and you know what? I'm gonna recommend this to you. Take your wife on a date to the Dallas Museum of Art. You guys go get some sophistication, go see some art, and then stroll right across the street to Clyde Warren
I
Park.
agree.
And there's that little bar over there, and just go sit out there in the sun, man, on a nice cool spring day or something. Have a couple of drinks, walk around, or even go down there at Christmas, because at Christmas they light the big tree out there. But man, Clyde Warren Park is such an awesome place. I cannot believe you've never been, bro. That blows my mind.
I'll double check this. Don't take my word for it, but they might have closed the bar recently because of COVID.
Oh, COVID. Yeah, I can understand for that.
But they're also
Well-
going to open a hockey rink there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, Clyde Warren Park is just and it's right across the street from, I mean, you can, once you cross from one side to the other, and then you get down there to the old El Phoenix building, where El Phoenix used to be, and where Mesa Mayo is. A couple of really good restaurants down there. It's just such a cool area, that Clyde Warren Park, man. And it's just such an amazement how Dallas was able to develop that and build the tunnel underneath it, so you can drive through, get through from downtown and cross over to the Margaret
tunnel
Hunt
was already
Bridge.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they improved it, widened it, provided lighting, and then they had to also they had to do some engineering to address the
Drainage.
temperatures. Well,
Oh.
the temperatures, because you know, anytime you have freezing weather under underpasses, because of the tunnel, the wind tunnel there, the temperatures anything above those of the. That's why when we have freezing rain,
Yeah.
they
The
tell you
bridge is ice over.
overpasses, because the airflow underneath those things causes them to freeze.
Right.
So that's one of the things they had to contend with, if they were going to have all this vegetation at Clyde Warren Park, right? So,
Yeah.
no, but it is amazing. You're right. We haven't been, I haven't been there, but I know I need to go. So
That's a good place for you and Kathy to go hang out, man. Just like I said, just one day, take her on a date out there, man. Go to the museum, go see some art. 'Cause it's a really cool place to just kind of hold hands and walk with your lady and just kind of chill. And then when you're done, you just stroll right across the street. And they have, and that's a good place for food
trucks.
trucks to park. So you always have a lot of different things going down if you get hungry, man. It's really a cool vibe down there.
Is it my
Okay.
turn now?
Yeah,
go ahead.
All right. Well, next I'm gonna say hit up Cedar Hill State Park and go hit the trails and rent a boat. Spend a day out there. You know, they have some really cool trails, first of all, but also exhibits of like house. There's like a house or two out there that you can walk around. There's a lot of different stuff to do out there. And then, like I said, go rent a boat, after getting all sweaty on the trails, and have a nice day on the lake.
Yeah. It is a cool place, and that's a really cool place to go challenge yourself. I know that. Have you guys ever walked the trails down there?
Yes.
RJ has multiple.
So I know there's a couple different spots where they have like a butterfly park. And it's a really, really nice place to go, like run out some frustrations if you're into, running off the beaten path and or even hiking, man. It's a really, really fun place to go, man. I like Cedar Hill State Park. That's an awesome choice, RJ.
Thank you.
So I'm going to show a little love to our sister city, Fort Worth, and mention the Fort Worth Stockyards.
Yeah. I would mention them at some point, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great place to go to and spend an afternoon. Old Main Street, watch the cattle drives. They had the little amusement park there. Lots of restaurants. Of people that are familiar with that, Joe T. Garcia's, my personal favorite, Esperanza's, was right there. Yeah. It's just a cool vibe over there too, and you get to feel what the Old West was back in the day.
Yeah, and here's a really cool thing about that area of downtown Fort Worth and Dallas in general is that a lot of people don't know this. I've done it many times, and for all you out of towners that are coming to visit our Fairburg, get on the Trinity Rail Express if you don't feel like driving to Fort Worth, and take the train out there, man. It's like $9 round trip, because the way that they do it is they break it up into zones at the county line. So you pay if you want to just travel within Dallas County on the Trinity Rail Express, $450 on one side, and it's $450 in Tarrant County on the other side. So $9 total. That gets you access to DART Rail, DART buses, Trinity Rail Express, and the Tarrant County buses system over there in Fort Worth. So you can kind of just get everything all in one for one price. It may have gone up in the last couple of years. I'm not sure because it's been a couple of years since I've done it. But if you don't want to drive the hassle of driving to Fort Worth to find a place to park, and if you're going to go drink or whatever, man, just take the train and don't even worry about all that stuff. You don't have to worry about parking. It drops you off right there by downtown Fort Worth, and you can just walk down to that part of town that Roland's talking about. But that's a really cool. If you're looking for something really, you're bored of hanging out in Dallas, jump on a train and go to Fort Worth, man. It's worth the day visit.
So did you get on the train at Union Station in downtown?
Yeah, you can join it. Okay, so it has several different stops between Dallas and Fort Worth. There's a stop at Union Station. There's a stop in the Bedford Euless area over by, and there's a stop over by the airport. And there's another stop somewhere in Fort Worth. I can't remember where it is. And then it takes you all the way to downtown Fort Worth. So yeah, you can jump on at Union Station and ride that sucker all the way to downtown Fort Worth, man. And it's worth it. It's like I said, you can, if you don't feel like driving, getting in traffic, just jump on the train and go, man. It's such a cool experience. If you've never done it before.
Try that. Haven't done that.
Yeah. This next thing that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to kind of, cause I know we're kind of pushing for time here. So I'm going to kind of lump everything, all the next few into one group. And that's for all you shoppers that come to town and you want to know where to go buy stuff. Where can you go hang out if you like to shop? And there's several different places in the DFW area, but the big three that I'm going to mention: North Park Mall,
Dallas Galleria,
the Galleria, and Grapevine Mills Mall. To me, those are the big three. Now you have another fourth one out in Arlington, the Parks Mall. That are really four good sized malls that have a lot of different shopping opportunities. North Park is more for the sophisticated, person. There's a lot of higher upper end stores over there. You can find a Tesla store inside North Park. Galleria is very, very cool because they have the tree and the skating rink in the middle of the Galleria Mall.
3-story tree.
3-story tree. It's very, very cool. If you've never been, if you live in Dallas and never been, or if you're coming to Dallas and want to go someplace at Christmas time to go check out, Galleria is awesome. Grapevine Mills.
Hold on. Real quick, back up a little bit. So at North Park Mall, they also have the trains.
The trains during Christmas time is awesome too, man. And the artwork that's just inside the mall is fantastic. But Grapevine Mills probably is one of my favorite places to go as far as malls, just because it's so huge. And Grapevine Mills has Legoland.
Yeah, I was gonna say Legoland.
They have a skating rink in there. And then you just kind of walk through. It's a big circular mall out there in the Grapevine area. What's that?
Don't they have the SeaWorld exhibit there?
I don't know if the SeaWorld exhibit is still there or not.
I know they have the Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe. There you go.
Yeah, is a cool place, man. That Grapevine Mills area, and that's close over there to the hotel RJ was talking about, the Gaylord Texan, kind of in that general vicinity, is really, really cool. And then, even the Parks Mall in Arlington, which has a skating rink inside of it, has the big carousel out there for the kids. So, a lot of shopping opportunities, a lot of places to go hang out with your kids, man. I mean, Grapevine Mills and the Parks Mall in Arlington are two really cool places to take kids during the summer, because the skating rinks are open. And just to get out of the heat, you want to go walk around and do something out, inside and not out of the heat, and get a lot of exercise. Those two malls are the places to go, man. Grapevine Mills is so huge, man. You walk around, it's like 2-mile walk all the way around.
Well, I just can't believe you disrespected Redbird Mall and Town East Mall so much, man. I mean,
you know what? In the heyday, Town East had its day.
Yeah, Town East. Yeah. There was a time when Town East was
and even Redbird Mall back in the day had its time too. But time has passed those two malls by, unfortunately. They really, really have, and they're just not the same as they were. I don't even think Redbird is an operating mall anymore.
Yeah, it is.
You take a drive by there. It's not what you. Yeah, it's making a comeback. They just redevelopment.
A World Foot Locker, 20,000 square foot World Foot Locker. They're building all these new apartments, and
they're gonna build like
the medical center. They're gonna have Parkland's gonna have a medical center. Is it UT Southwest? I think is gonna have a medical center.
I think so.
There.
I think UT Southwest. And then I believe they're also trying to do like a viewing area where they're gonna have a TV displaying Cowboys games and things like that, and restaurants kind of facing it with green area.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, man. I haven't been to the Redbird area in a long time, so I haven't seen Redbird Mall and the updates you guys are talking about. I just know, as far as malls go in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the big four for me have always been those ones.
And don't forget to check out the Golden Chick.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check out the Golden Chick on the hard corner.
Oh yeah, on Camp Wisdom. Yeah,
in Westmoreland.
Yeah,
man, such a great location.
Yeah,
awesome
really,
location.
just outstanding work.
Anyway, so go ahead. Okay, RJ. So
should we just say the rest of them each time we at this point? Should I just say the rest of mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
For the sake of time. All right.
I think we've covered most of my list anyway.
Okay. Well, I know we're pushing for time, so I think we're definitely gonna have to do kind of a part 2 of this episode.
Restaurants, man. That's coming in part 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say restaurants, and then we still got to talk about the things that we haven't done, because those are things I think we should kind of challenge each other to do. But for me, the rest of my list is gonna be pretty much entertainment kind of based. Cowboys game at AT&T Stadium, if you can, if it's NFL season. I've been to, I can't even tell you how many games. It's
just not this season.
It's when they're good. Let me clarify, because when you're there and the Cowboy, even if they're mediocre in some of those 8-8 seasons, when Dez had some of those catches, being there for some of those games it was insane. That place just erupts when the Cowboys are good. Obviously we're living in a different world right now, but when things get back to normal, it's it's fun. It's not cheap. So, bring your pocket.
And don't they hold the NFL record for the largest crowd in a stadium? I think at one point they had almost
That fact
100,000
cannot be
people in there.
proven.
Is that when they set up those cheap
Yeah,
bleachers
kinda pushed-
and I think got sued?
to push them over 100,000, but I
Yeah,
think that was
but
it.
we'll fact check that. Next for me after that would be the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. You guys already mentioned the Dallas Arboretum, and Dallas Arboretum is special in its own way, but right before COVID hit, I had the chance to go check out the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens, and they're truly something themselves as well. I mean,
well, I was going to say, we definitely need to do a follow-up show because we didn't even talk about University Village over in Fort Worth. That area is really, really cool. And I think in wrapping up, I want to throw a little shout out and love to the Dallas Arts District because if you haven't been to the Winspear Opera House, you gotta go. Same thing with the Morton Meyerson Symphony Center. Those two venues are just amazing, breathtaking. That's one thing. I don't know, Jay. Have you ever gone to a concert or?
I've never been to a concert there, but I've been to the buildings. I've been inside the buildings. I've never been there for an entertainment purpose. Just kind of walking around. I got curious one day. I was walking around down there, and I just kind of went to go check them out. And I would like to say, in that area where you're talking about, bro, if you're a fan of churches, man, the Cathedral de Guadalupe. Church right there on the corner of Ross, man. That's one of the most beautiful churches.
Well, and that's where we had Grandma's ceremony too. But no,
I'm gonna just throw my last one real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go check out an SMU game.
I can't believe we didn't. You speaking of SMU, I can't believe we didn't mention the Bush Library.
Well, no, that's the thing. That's one of the things I was talking to RJ about earlier. I mean, I literally have a list. My wife helped me comprise a list. I bet with all the things we talked about,
you still haven't got half of them.
We still haven't, because we didn't mention what started this whole conversation. The 6th floor museum, Plaza. We didn't mention those.
Man, we do need a part 2. This okay.
Right.
And that's why
but anyway, what I was going to say to kind of finish on both the Morton Meyerson and the Winspear Opera House. So we've gone to multiple shows there. We went and saw Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, The Grinch That Stole Christmas, Nutcracker. The Nutcracker, go watch if you get a chance. I don't know if they're going to do the performances. Hopefully they will, but go watch the Nutcracker at the Winspear Opera House. It was awesome. Again, they have musicals, they have ballet, they have all kinds of other, they have concerts there too. But it's a really, really awesome place to go check out. Same thing with the Morton Meyerson Symphony Center. I don't know when's the last time you've been to a symphony, Jay, but
no,
it's been a while, but I like going. Whenever I go, it's an amazing time.
You know what? I need to take my wife there because she's a big fan of classical music.
Mm-hmm.
She loves classical music, and so I think I need to figure out a way to get her down there and go see a concert. I
tell you what, boys, because we're clocking it over just over an hour now.
Yeah,
I think we definitely need to have a part 2. So what I'm going to say is, for all of our viewers, if you guys have something that didn't make the list on this episode, please feel free to drop it in the comments and let's talk about it. I mean, we don't mean to slide anything because we're very, very proud of this city.
Oh yeah.
We're very, very, we amongst us, we talk about the fact that we believe that we live in the greatest city.
Amen.
The greatest state.
Amen.
In the greatest country in this world.
Amen.
So we're all of us are Dallas born, native Dallas residents, born in here. Jay and I are third generation. Grandma,
Yep.
yeah, we're third
Yep.
generation. RJ's fourth generation. So we're definitely, we carry a high level of pride for this city, and that extends to DFW as a whole. We're very proud of Arlington. We're very proud of Fort Worth, but we're very, very happy to discuss Dallas. So if you guys have any comments or any venues that we may have left off, it's not intentional. There's just so much to cover, and we've only got so much time. So, any last thoughts before we wrap this up, guys?
No, you know what? I really need to sit down for part 2 because I mean, there's so many other places that I went, and I like RJ's challenge of challenging us to go someplace that we've never been in Dallas, which is going to be hard for me because I kind of feel like I've done everything in this town, but I know that I'm missing something. I just know.
I've got some good ones. That's why when we were talking about what to do for this episode, I wanted to have, I had those 2 kind of backup lists because I didn't know how we were going to be on time. But there's going to have to be a follow-up because, like we said, the whole reason we started talking about this was the fact that me and my dad, over here, sorry, I'm messing up like him tonight, but
like father, like son.
oh my gosh, he made the comment about had any of us been to Dealey Plaza, and of course you said you had, Jay, but
yeah,
I know there's things that I'm pretty sure I'd be willing to bet there's a good majority of things on my list.
Yeah, but, I mean, just to again, we didn't mention the historic West End.
Yeah,
and all
Turtle
the things
Creek,
Turtle
the
Creek.
mansion.
But real
like
quick, just to close out, I do want to invite anybody, if you haven't actually walked the SMU campus, now's a great time to go do it because they just had the celebration of lights. So they lit up the campus where they deck it out with all these lights. And it's really, it's a cool place to go walk in the evening when it's not so cold, and just stroll up and down the entire campus at SMU.
Do I have to wear Sperry's and a pink shirt?
No, you don't have to. We're not.
SMU accepts people of all backgrounds and
that's right, baby.
Socioeconomic,
that's right.
upbringings.
I'm proud of our school. So,
but I wouldn't expect someone who didn't go there to understand that.
All right. So with
Let's
that
close this
said,
out, boys.
So with that said, again, we want to thank you all for checking out this episode and checking out the Now That You Mention It podcast with us 3 knuckleheads. We want to invite you to please hit the notification button, subscribe so that every time we drop a new episode, you get a nice little notification that we're still here. Also, feel free to leave comments down in the comments below, and one of us, probably RJ, will try and follow up with you as efficiently as possible. Don't forget to check us out on audio format. I'm going to start with audio and then go back to video. Audio on Podbean, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts now, and Spotify. The one I always continue to forget.
Out, man.
I don't know.
Great Spotify.
I just haven't. It doesn't roll off my tongue. But don't forget to check out the Now That You Mention It website, which RJ will post, I'm sure, someplace.
The link, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When we get to the editing part of this, we're going to try and edit out that part where Jay dropped off, and we'll put like a picture of the Grinch or something right there as a placeholder.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to channel my.
Or we can put the Harambe.
Damn. I'm gonna have to channel my inner Gandalf and do some wizardry.
But don't forget to check our Facebook page, Instagram, our TikTok, and Reddit,
and Twitter.
And what? And Twitter. Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah. And before
go ahead.
Yeah, before you go on, I just want to say the website is your friend because you can just go there and any platform that you use, I have it on there. You can just click the logo and it will open that app on if you're on your mobile device, or if you listen on your computer, it will take you to that website.
Perfect.
All right. So Good night, boys. Thank you all for checking us out again, and thank you, Jesse Pete, because we couldn't do this without you.
Amen.
Amen. Good night, boys.
Good night.
Good night.